always want to spray a little bit there, a little bit there. Because when girls are chatting to you, you lean over and you're like, what? They smell it. I've just got out of the shower. So your hands are all fat, rings don't go on. Now it'll have to go there. And check this out, man. So this box, they're mustard seeds. You put it, just chuck it in the mud and it fucking grows. Like onyx. You can see through it. Say you can see souls of the dead. See you later, Calypso! Where is Senham positioned? Land's End, end of the land, Cornwall. We're right on the tip. So basically we're exposed to rough seas, stormy weather. It feels like there's a microclimate down here, you know. Even locally, 10 minutes away, it might be sunny. Down here it's freezing cold. There's swells massive, smashing up against a cliff. The area really reflects the people as well down here. You know, it's a pretty intense place to grow up and live, I'd say for sure. Ways that I'm creative is through surfing, and mainly surfing. I enjoyed boxing as well because I find it quite interesting moving around, trying to avoid your opponent, stuff like that is almost like a form of dancing. And then with drawing is probably the third expression, just because it's something that you can do wherever you are. So I'd say my style, if I had one, certainly wouldn't be perfect. I like just jotting things down, whether it's on a surfboard or anything like that. It's graffiti almost. School, there was always other things in my mind. I never listened. There was only a couple of subjects where I listened, and the other ones, if I weren't winding people up or, you know, physically doing something, I'd literally just be drawing, just doodling. You know, the teacher's voice would just become an echo in the background, and you know, you just go into your own world, just drawing things, making the time go quicker. So loads of drawing in school. That's really where it all started. And there's still what it is today. I'll draw when I'm bored, you know. Yeah, Cape Cornwall School is the secondary school I went to, along with my other friends, Cape Byes. Yeah, it's the last school in the land, really. And it was amazing because in primary school I was well behaved. There's a strict head teacher, Mr. Bazanko, that kept me in check. But when I went to Cape, I was just blown away about how lax it was. And
People were doing all sorts in that school. It was full of kids with high energy, you know, because a lot of them would get kicked out of other schools and they'd all wind up in Cape. So we had the best time at that school. At lunchtime we could go out in town, and the only downside of it really is that I left without a single GCSE. Single pass, not one. Yeah. Well, the good thing about it is that we had a really good fucking time. When I was younger, I got my first job when I was 16 as a lifeguard, and I'd work through the summer and not spend anything, and then I would use all of that money to do one big trip away for most of the winter, like 4 months plus. Usually somewhere like Indonesia, which is a beautiful place that at the time wasn't that expensive. So now I've changed a little bit though. Now I'm lucky enough to be more flexible. I can sort of stay here at home, wait for a swell somewhere, and then go to that place for that swell and then come back. So I'm not doing that 4-month thing away every year, which is good and bad. Yeah, there are times where surfing does definitely take a back seat. And it's a very dangerous game, that is, because it's, like I said before, I get comfortable. So sometimes I'm like, I don't feel like surfing because I don't feel like doing it, so I won't do it. I'm not going to force it. But then there have been times when I felt like that, but I've sort of forced myself to go for a surf, and it's been the best surf I've ever had. So for me, it's always worth realising that and keeping that balance there. Otherwise I could slip off and never surf again. One of the best things about Seinen in the winter really is waiting for shipwreck, because you know, if a container gets washed off a boat with stuff in it, then you can go wrecking. You get all sorts. Living by the sea is exciting because it's always different, changing. Anything could come in. There was a time where about 3,000 pouches of Golden Virginia tobacco got washed in. And we went and got them, 1,000. Brand new Golden Virginia, all still in its packets. Problem was that the sea had got in just a tiny little bit. So we dunked it in warm water and reweighed it and put it back in. But the thing is that when you put it in warm water, it takes away the tar. So we had to sort of put it in warm water for like a second and then lift it back out carefully. Re-dry it all out. It was a long process, but I sold a lot at school. Seaweed Backy was the nickname. All right, you got any seaweed Backy? Have I been an upstanding member of the Seinen community? When I was young, definitely not, because I suppose I was quite misbehaved. I was just full of energy and pretty cocky. But now, as I've gotten older, you know, I want to help Seinen. There's a lot of work that needs to be done here. There's nothing to do here for younger people, like I was. So I may have burnt a couple of bridges, but they'll be rebuilt, I'm sure, in the future, yeah. There's a few people that love me, and I'm sure there's a couple of people that hate me too.
Still awesome pranks.
Yeah, there'll be pranks. No, none of that. No, I'm gonna be the counsellor one day.